Hey folks, how you doing? This is Kurt with Manana no Mas, and the hat is really growing on me. I wore the hat as part of the outfit in Las Vegas when I was doing the talk last week, and I ran into people from all over the country that I had known, and they were like, "Dude, I like the hat. I like the hat." And now that I have like without the hat, I kind of feel like that's just kind of plain, and then with the hat, you can kind of be like this way, right? Or you can put it up a little bit higher if you wanted to be a little more friendly, a little less standoffish. Uh, Here's another good thing about the hat: when you go to a big event and there's thousands of people, and you see people that but you really just don't really want to spend that much time with, you just kind of go like this and you walk on by. I like that. I like that. A lot of folks didn't recognize me, and that was kind of nice. Not nice because I hate people. That's not what I'm saying. But you're at a big event. There's thousands of people, and there's people that you need to meet. There's people that you need to spend time with. There's people that you need to invest in. And then there's people that are like, yeah, it's cool to have a beer with them, but that's not the purpose of the trip, right? The purpose of the trip is for business and for propagating leads and all those fun things. So, folks, welcome to another live Thursday morning here with Manana no Mas. Today we're kind of dipping in and pulling out of the leadership folder, but it's very much related to business with what we're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about from chaos to control. Now, part of the reason that I brought from chaos to control to this live session is because I just spent a week in Las Vegas, right? I was flown to Vegas. I was brought in by the Hero Hub team, Dealer Hero, and it was to, I've really opened up a bunch of things here on my tablet. And it was to do two talks. One talk was called Pit Stops to Profit. So Pit Stops to Profit was, how do we find this low-hanging fruit in the fixed operations department of a motorcycle dealership? And how do we take that low-hanging fruit and convert it into revenue? And so we had that chat, and almost kind of like an overlay is this talk of process, right? So if we assign process to our departments, we're able to become more efficient, and efficiency drives profit and all these things. Now, this all sounds like great words, but it's a totally different thing to implement it. And so admittedly, when I gave the talk on Wednesday about pit stops to profit, I felt like if people came to that talk and didn't come to from chaos to control on Thursday and Friday, I felt like they would be at a horrible disadvantage. It's like being in one of these networking groups in business where everybody gets together and shares their spreadsheets, and they go, oh, well, this column's high and this column's low, and this, and these business owners will get together and discuss things, different key performance indicators on their spreadsheets. And then as a group, they'll say, oh, well, I'm going to make a commitment before our next meeting to make this column go up 10 points. And it sounds great at the meeting. But if they don't understand the internal culture at their own business, if they don't understand how everyone is communicating with each other, if they don't understand what the customer's real feedback or real emotional tie to their business is, they're not able to implement any processes. Because if there's not buy-in, if there's not buy-in, there's no process. Your employees have to have a certain amount of buy-in with you. They have to understand that you've cast a vision, you've given them a direction to go, you've given them a process to implement, and they can march forward. But that internal culture needs to be built on respect and confidence and teamwork and all of those things to make that come true. And if that's not in place, whatever it is that you thought you were going to implement isn't going to happen. Or it'll happen for 3 work days and fade away. So when I talk about from chaos to control, and remember, in Las Vegas, it was a Powersports group. Literally thousands of people from the Powersports industry descend on Las Vegas and have this thing called the AIMExpo. And that's where I spoke. I spoke at the AIMExpo. So while I did the talk on From Chaos to Control focused on power sports, I couldn't help but notice so many transfer points, so many business applications that I see in my day to day where this talk is completely relatable. And so I wanted to bring this talk to you guys today and kind of open it up for discussion. So if you come into this discussion live, if you got the notice last week and you're like, hey, Kurt's doing a thing live on Thursday, I'm going to go. If you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, if you're watching on X, I would encourage you to put your comments in so I can see the comments and then, interact with you and have a conversation in that way. But to me, it seems so rudimentary. It's almost embarrassing for me to be like, oh, have you ever considered journaling, or do you use a planner, or how do you use your digital calendar? But if I don't ask those founding questions, I don't know what you're doing. And here's the shocking part. More times than not, people are doing nothing. That's the part that is so shocking. So I jump on a live like this and I say, hey, how do we take your business from chaos to control? How do we take your professional life from chaos to control? And then I start asking some exploratory questions to figure out, okay, what's the baseline? Where are you at? And many, many, many times you're at ground zero. Ground zero. You might have a scheduling link and you allow people to make appointments in your schedule. Okay, great. But you're not managing that schedule. You're allowing the scheduler to manage that schedule. And you kind of get lost in the chaos of your day. Sometimes you're missing appointments. Sometimes you're running late. Sometimes you go to appointments and nobody's there. And so this weird, like, you built it as a tool to help you manage your time, or so you thought. But now it turns out this thing's actually managing you. And you're not really in control of it. So I have a scheduling link. If people want to schedule a call with me, they go to manananomas.com, they click book a call, and it's going to give you some options to schedule a meeting with me. You'll notice when you go to that link, it doesn't say Monday through Friday from sunrise to sunset. It's going to give you a couple of time frames. It's going to say we can meet Wednesday at this time, we can meet Friday at this time, and that's that. Now, there's a reason why I'm so protective of my time, and that's part of the whole chaos to control conversation. You have to take ownership of your own time. Whether you're the business owner or a manager in the system or an employee, you have to take ownership of your own time. And then you have to figure out, how can I best serve my stakeholders? How can I best reduce friction and serve my stakeholders? So immediately you start thinking, well, that's a contradiction, Kurt. You just said you just meet on Wednesdays and Fridays from certain hours. How is that reducing friction if your people want to meet on Friday, or if your people want to meet on Monday? It's a great question. Does sound like a contradiction, does it? It's not. If I make myself available all the time, Monday through Friday, sunrise to sunset, you're not getting the best me. You're not getting the person that is time blocked those sections to give the best to new people that want to have a meeting. Right? Those are the things that we need to consider and we need to keep in balance. And that's part of the whole chaos to control thing is balance. So if I make myself available Monday through Friday, sunrise to sunset, and I do a call with somebody at 8 o'clock, and I do another call with somebody at noon on Monday, and then another one Wednesday at 2 o'clock, and one Thursday at 6:30 in the morning, that is not me delivering my best in those moments. That is me bending myself to fit into some paradigm that's been created by people I don't even know yet, right? Because these are discovery meetings for me. And so when I time block these sections of my week and I say, this is what I can do with this time in my week, I'm committed to excellence in this task, this time each week. and people can book those times, that reduces the friction for the customer because they're getting the best result. I want you to really think about things like this. So I talked to you about my planner, and I do this frequently, right? I have this remarkable 2 tablet. This is my day today. So my day today has a fair amount of stuff on it. I get up in the morning, and let's be more transparent. The second page in the planner says today's inspiration, today's priorities, and today's notes. The notes I fill in at the end of the day. At the beginning of the day, what's my inspiration? Well, I get up, I have coffee with my wife, we read a piece of scripture together, we talk about it, we pray about it. And that kind of gives me my emotional centering for the day. Not going to lie. Some of you watching this, if you're not a person of faith, you might go, well, that's a crutch, or that's, you might have a criticism of that being how I start my day. But that's my choice. That's how I start my day. If you're into yoga, if you go to the gym, if you're a Satanist and you got your own book to read your own book. Okay. But what I'm saying is I start out each day with a piece of mental inspiration, a piece of grounding. Right? A little bit of prayer gets me going on my thing. Today's priorities is the next thing. So what is the core thing that I'm going to do in a specific day? Now, that's a great question to ask yourself. If you ask yourself, if you have a period of meditation in the morning, and I'm using the word meditation widely, right? So whatever you're doing to center yourself, again, going to the gym, going to yoga, going for a bike ride, whatever, praying, reading, but you're doing something that kind of gives you that center, okay? So you center yourself, you go through a period of meditation, your brain is clear, and then you ask yourself, what's the priority for today? Not what's the list of crap I got to do, but what's my priority for the day? So my priority on a day like today, a Thursday, when my schedule is full of live sessions, quite honestly, is to keep my energy up for live video. That's my thing. So my priority today is, it says energy for live videos. So I'm going to have the right nutrition in the kitchen. I'm going to have coffee at the ready when I need it. I'm well rested from last night. That's my priority. My priority for today the priorities aren't tasks. The priority is what is your focal vision? What is your focal issue for the day? So for me, it is keeping my energy level high for these live talks that I'm going to do all day today. I have 2 support calls with Lifter LMS. I've got a WP Tonic podcast to do, and I'm doing this with you right now. So that's going to bring me to that piece, right? And then today's notes is the thing that I review at the end of the day when I say, okay, did that work? Did that not work? What would I change? What would I make better? And then I have another page that quite honestly is more private, right? That's less transparent. And that's the daily journal. So I have 3 pages every day. I have the calendar, I have my priorities and my notes, and the last page is the journal. So that's kind of the way that I organize my day. So now we're saying, well, okay, Kurt, from chaos to control, does that really work? Let me tell you, it's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. When you start out your day with a clear idea of what's in front of you, you're able to go, oh, okay, I got it. Now I still use digital calendars. My Google Calendar is synced to like 3 other sources of calendaring, right? I already told you I have a scheduling link, and then I have, my Microsoft Outlook for my email. So someone sends me an invite to my email, I accept it, blah, blah, blah. Goes to that calendar. It syncs to my Google Calendar. My Google Calendar syncs to my Android phone. So yes, I still have electronic calendaring, but when I get up in the morning and I do my reading and I go to my planner journal, I take a moment and I write down my schedule every morning. That act of writing it down, it gives me a sense of solidness. It gives me a sense of I have a grip on my day instead of my day having a grip on me. That is so important. Your mental outlook for what your day is, it's so important that you realize I'm in control of this. Now, if I were to write down my schedule in the day and go, ooh, that's rough. I got this person always goes long, and this person's never prepared. And if I take a look at it and I go, oh, this is a rougher day than I thought I wanted to have. I can reschedule stuff. I can move stuff around because I am in charge of my time and you are in charge of your time. So I see some people have jumped into the live. I'm going to throw the invite out again in case you missed it. Join the comments. If you are Facebook, LinkedIn, X, YouTube, if you're watching this thing, if you came into StreamYard where I'm broadcasting this from, jump into the comments. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and what you think about the topic. Now, when I say from chaos to control, and I talk about how I spoke in Vegas on this subject at the AIMExpo, folks, I got to tell you, people are on the edge of their seats. More on the edge of their seats than I expected them to be. You know how, like, you think you put a decent talk together and you're like, oh, this is going to be okay, right? And then you go to deliver the talk and people are leaning in. That was kind of, I'm not going to say a surreal experience because that's overselling it, but it was confirmation for me that we are on the right path. So what I got a lot in feedback from people was, I know what I want to do. I know everything just glitched here. I hope you guys are good. We had snow, and sometimes the snow and the ice interferes with the cable outside. Hopefully we're still good. If you're watching live, just put a comment in that says you can hear or you can't hear or the picture's gone or whatever. But on my side, it looks like we're good. So when I started to speak to people and get feedback while doing the talk, a lot of the feedback was, I can't get other people to buy in. I can't get other people to so I know how I want to institute control in my work area, but the team won't do it. The team won't join in. The team refuses to play the game. The team, and I went right back to what I was talking about in my previous talk the previous day. And that was, your internal culture at your place of employment has to be a positive internal culture for you to institute real change. The idea that, you're just going to crack the whip and people are going to work harder, work faster, that is 1960s talk right there. It's not going to happen in today's world. People will be like, you know what? I hear unemployment sucks, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Right? And they'll just leave. They don't want to play some weird game with you. So you got to be transparent. You got to say, hey, this is what our department currently does. This is what we need our department to do moving forward. These are the steps we've put together to try and get the department to work in the right direction. These are the processes we're going to have to put in place in order to take those steps to go in the right direction. As the leader of this department, I'm here to help. I'm here to advise. I'm here to take your feedback. I'm here to work with you the best that I can. But at the end of the day, this department has to go from this snapshot of performance to a projected snapshot of performance, and we have to execute these steps to get there. So how can we do that? And when you institute those processes, that's where the control comes in. So we go from chaos to control. How many of you have gone to the grocery store lately and just have seen mayhem? Just absolute mayhem. They're stocking the shelves at 3, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, right? The post office rush is coming in to pick up milk and bread and eggs, and they're blocking the aisles with carts full of cereal. And you're going, this doesn't make any sense. And then you're checking out, and as you're checking out, they're trying to convince you to go through self-checkout. And why would I want to go through self-checkout? They should have been working with their employees to build relationships with their employees so that their employees will build relationships with customers so that customers feel a tie to that facility and return over and over and over again. If you go back 5-10 years ago, people used to be committed to a grocery store. And it sounds silly for me to bring this up, but people say, oh, I always shop Albertsons, or I always shop Safeway, or I always shop the Piggly Wiggly, or I always shop the Publix. You didn't see people saying, oh, well, meat is this much a pound at this store and eggs are this much at that store. And I'm going to go to this store for grain and I'm going to go to this store for sugar. That didn't used to be the way things were communicated. And so you have to ask yourself, is the economy really that bad that people are pinching those pennies like that? Or Has the store begun to run in such a chaotic form and a lack of focus on the customer that the customer has just disengaged its relationship from the store? That's worth having a whole discussion about. So, if you think about that experience, and then you think about a bicycle shop, a motorcycle store, a place that sells boats, if you think about, if you're a female and you're thinking about, well, I used to go shopping at uh, Lane Bryant all the time, or I used to go shopping at, I'm going to throw some weird names out, probably out of business by now, but I used to go shopping there all the time. I used to go here all the time. I used to go there all the time. And now you're ordering stuff online and having it sent to your house. There used to be enjoyment in going to the store and having an experience, but that enjoyment is gone. So when we say, where does that enjoyment go? Well, there's more friction now, right? So when we say, what does friction mean? It's not as easy, it's not as fun, it's not as integrated, none of it. None of it is as good as it used to be. And so people's loyalties have changed. And so what the businesses are saying is they're saying, well, the customers aren't loyal, so we're just going to cut back. Probably the worst decision they could make. They need to double down now. They need to double down and get people recommitted to them, or they'll be out of business. So when I say from chaos to control, I want you to think about your day. Think about your day. And are you in control of your day, or are outside influences really in control of your day? I showed you my planner day, right? So earlier I held up my planner. I said, here's my day. It's pretty well booked. And so you would say, well, your day's managing you. No, my day is not managing me. I have time blocked Thursdays to manage all of these live shows. Lifter LMS used to have their live support call on a different day. And I said, you know what? This would be better for me if we did it on Thursdays. Does anyone object to moving this to Thursday? Because if I can stack all my live scheduled calls up on Thursdays, that tells me that's my day. That's my day for executing and getting my lives done. And then I've got the other days of the week to work on one-off tasks and meetings. So you see what I did there? An outsider would look in and say, wow, your Thursday is stacked. Your calendar is running your life. And I'm going to say, no, I made that decision, right? I am running my life. I manage my time. And when I talk to other professionals doesn't matter if it's in production, retail, office, operations, when I talk to other individuals, I find that very, very few of them are in a position to manage their days. And so that takes me to something I want to share with you. If you go to the Manana No Mas website, that's our site, Manana No Mas, and you take a look at our courses, there's going to be a course called Jot It Down, right? So Jot It Down is right here. Jot It Down is a fancy way of saying journaling. Journaling has completely changed the way that I do things. And so you can buy the course one off, or you can become a member at Manana No Mas and get access to multiple courses. But here we go, right? Introduction, the power of journaling, its obvious benefits, where the magic really happens, journaling, and your physical health. So that's kind of a weird tie, right? People go, what do you mean in your physical health? When you reduce your stress, when you have lower cortisol in your system, when you take action to reduce friction in your own life, you physically get healthier. It's a great thing. There's a journal for everything, right? So there's journals that you can use for do you like to write with a pen? Do you like this, like that? For me, I like the act of writing. I like it more than typing. And so I wanted to get something I could write in, which is why I got this Remarkable 2 tablet. And then I was still journaling in copybooks, but I had a stack of copybooks and they weren't searchable. Excuse me. And they weren't searchable. So what I did was I got a Remarkable 2 tablet. Everything I put in there is completely searchable. And it's like having a stack of copybooks in one place. So that's why I give the digital journal away. So I already gave that up, right? So that's what's coming up at the end of this. Journaling tips, journal prompts, the conclusion, right? Kind of the wrap up. And then we have an ebook, we have a workbook, and we got a planner that we include with the course. So if we go down and we say get the planner, we say get the planner, and it's going to open up. And this is what I just showed you in my remarkable tablet. And so here's the year, here are months. All right, so year and then week and then days. And then I told you it's 3 pages per day, right? So then we work through the days, right? And then when we get to the end of a week, we're going to have a week recap page. Let's see if we get to that. I should have slowed down. Weeks read daily journal, day 6, day 9, day 10, day 11, day 12. There we go. Here's the week. Wins for the week, new discoveries, what did not go well, right? And so some people think that journaling is all about patting yourself on the back. Journaling is really taking a snapshot of your day before you forget that day and giving you an opportunity to improve, right? So what did not go well? So we're going to say, okay, wins of the week, new discoveries, what didn't go well? And then it gives us the ability to reflect on that and make the change or to tweak things for the next week. So then our next week at a glance, and then we go into the day thing again, right? If we go back to a monthly page, and if I click on a monthly page, you're going to see right here, I'm tracking habits, right? This is my habit tracker. So did I exercise? Did I read for fun? Do I have a hobby? Did I have a date night with my spouse? And did I dive into scripture that day? And that'll go straight across. So what's my main goal of the month? And what are my notes going into this month? And then I can review that going back again. Again, this is all hyperlinked and searchable. So if I click on it, it takes me right back to it. If I click on a specific day, it's going to take me to that day. And so the whole thing is hyperlinked, and the whole thing keeps me very, very organized. And so that's yours. If you decide to take the Jot It Down course, you get the journal. It's just included. And you can put that into a remarkable tablet. You could put it on an iPad. You could do whatever you wanted with it. It's really just like a fillable PDF that's all hyperlinked, and it's like 1,300 pages that goes with that. And so when we say from chaos to control, what are the benefits? Like, I'm saying do this, do that, do the other thing. But what are the benefits when we say going from chaos to control? One is just personal health, personal well-being. The difference between the Kurt Von Ahnen of today and the Kurt Von Ahnen of a decade ago is mind-boggling. I can remember 10 years ago being in the airport and forgetting where I was going. There was a point when I worked at Ducati where they had me on the road 210 days out of the year. And if I wasn't on the road, they expected me to be in the office. So imagine that. I'm at different airports. I can't remember where I'm going. What city am I going to? Where am I supposed to go today? What gate was I going to? When do I have to be at the gate? Like, I was literally coming apart at the seams 10 years ago. And when I look at where I was 10 years ago and I look at where I'm at today, it is a night and day difference. It's an absolute paradigm shift. So my health is better than it was 10 years ago. My stamina is better than it was 10 years ago. I got older, but got healthier. That doesn't usually happen. So I go to the doctor. They pull the numbers. What's your blood pressure? What's this? What's that? And your numbers are all in line. You're looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm taking really good care of myself right now. And I'm still getting work done. I'm still gaining clients. Business is still growing. I'm getting asked to speak at events because my business is still growing. Things are working. So when things are working, more people want to know, hey, how is this working for you? How are you able to put all this together? And it comes from a place of organization, having a purpose, and being committed to process. I know that this sounds a little bit redundant and it sounds crazy, but think about your day. What processes do you really have? What routines have you put in place that you've grown accustomed to? When I was in Vegas last week, I went to the industry party. There was an industry party. Thousands of people are there, right? I told you, AIMExpo is a big deal. So I go down. It's the first night. I go downstairs. and they got a DJ, they got multiple buffet tables, they got bars, like 3 or 4 different bars out, and serving thousands of people. And I went down and I got my first drink and I said hi to 10 or 12 people that I knew that were friends. And I was kind of bumping around a little bit and trying to say, okay, do I even want to see what kind of food is here? And it hit me like a brick. It was like someone took a rock and threw it and hit me right in the head. It wasn't for me. This is the freedom that comes with a lifestyle when you say from chaos to control. That party, it glitched again. Hope you guys are still with me. That party was off the chain. It was crazy. I am not crazy anymore. Like, it was a mismatch. And so when you live in the framework of from chaos to control, you're able to look around and go, this isn't for me. You know what? This isn't for me. And I made that decision and I just left. And you know what? Nobody misses me. There's thousands of people there. Nobody missed me. And if someone did miss me, it's probably to my benefit, right? Because then they'll say, yeah, that's weird. I didn't see Kurt down there. I should probably call him next week, right? Think about that. There's so many instances where we put ourselves in an environment that we really don't want to be in, where we go, this isn't really for me. And when that happens, a lifestyle that says from chaos to control, you're going to pull the plug. You're going to go, pfft. So here I am in Las Vegas, right? Everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I left the industry party, just left, hopped in an Uber, went back to the hotel. I got me some Panda Express, ate myself a little dinner, went to bed. The next day when I showed up to speak, I was due to speak at 10 a.m. I had like 9.5 hours of sleep. Not hungover, didn't party, got to the event, gave my talk like a shining star. I'm looking out and people are sitting there looking hungover, right? The energy level from Wednesday to Thursday had fallen off a cliff. But when you live in the mindset of from chaos to control, you control how you interact within the environment and you set processes and routines. Hanging out at the industry party with thousands of people that I didn't know and bumping to music on the DJ and trying to get something to eat off the buffet and eat things that were foreign to me, that did not ring of control. To be honest, it had a ring of chaos. And I had to step away from the chaos, recenter on control, and then due to that, I was able to present and perform really, really well the next day when other people were unable to optimize their day because they allowed the event to manage them instead of them managing the event. You'll hear me say that a lot. And we're going to close this out pretty soon because we've gone past half the hour. But the message that I really want to share with you today is when you are in the thick of things, when you are, doesn't matter if you're the employee, the manager, the director, the owner, when we're in a business sense, this talk goes to everybody. It doesn't just go to the people at the top of the pyramid. This goes to everybody. When you are in the thick of it, when you are doing the job, when you are performing, whatever it is, you're an accountant, you're a salesperson, you're a customer service representative, whatever. Are you managing the day or is the day managing you? When you manage the day, you're able to take similar tasks, blend them together, and make a single task. Stick with me on this. I'm not making stuff up. Let's go back to working in Powersports in the service department, because this is something that's relatable. I might have 10 motorcycles that my technicians are working on. So I've got 10 customers that I'm trying to juggle. Okay. I could wait for each of those customers to call in and say, hey, what's going on with my motorcycle? And then I have to say, hold on, let me go check with the technician. I'll be right back. Boom. I put them on hold. I walk back to the shop. I take 6, 7, 10 minutes, talk to a technician, come back, answer the phone, and give the customer some crazy walking around the bush story about why their vehicle's not done yet. And then tell them I'll call them back later, but I never do because I'm waiting for them to call, and I hang up the phone. That's an example of the job managing the person. The other example is first thing in the morning, you go into work and you meet with your technicians and you say, I need to know what's going on with these 10 motorcycles. And then you go back to your desk and you call each of those 10 customers and you say, hey, just want to let you know your motorcycle's not done yet. This is the stage they're working on right now. And I'll give you an update when I have more news. And you hang up the phone. Now, instead of taking 10 minutes, that took 90 seconds. Now you do that times 10, right? So you call 10 people. So instead of it taking 120 or 150 minutes of your time, it took 12 minutes of your time. So now what you've done is you've time blocked an activity and you have multiplied your time by almost a factor of 10. So now instead of more than 2 hours of your day just being tracking down incoming phone calls and complaints, you have happy customers that you proactively communicated to. So they're not complaining. The customers are happy. So right there we go, schwink, right? Cortisol levels just drop. Everything's looking great. So that works out great. You've also multiplied time. So now you have more time to manage your day instead of being squeezed for time when it feels like your day is managing you. And I go through these types of exercises with people. When I consult with businesses, I go in and I look at, hey, what's the process here? Is there a process? So is there a process? What is the process? And does it make sense? Does it optimize the individual? A lot of us are looking to AI now. We're going, oh, what does AI say about X, Y, and Z? And how can I automate this and automate that and automate the other? I want to give you a sense of caution in that kind of thinking. One, you really got to be an expert at AI to start leveraging things in that way. If you over depend on AI and you think it's some magic button, it's going to bite you in the ass. Plain and simple. I work on the internet all the time. I'm here to tell you, if you're not an expert in this stuff, you're going to screw something up. The other thing is, if we automate everything and we take the relationship out of everything, we have no loyalty. We didn't create any base of communication or connection to our clients. So I want to caution you, when you try to automate everything, you take the relationship out. And if you take the relationship out, what's the tie? Where does the commitment to do business with you come from? When you're in sales, they'll tell you all the time, the relationship is what sells. The relationship is what sells. The relationship is what sells. And then after we grow our businesses to where they become difficult to manage, then we go, oh, how can we automate this thing? Well, if we automate it, we take out the relationship. The relationship is what sells. So we start this race to the bottom spiral. So when I come at you and I say, hey, when we want to go from chaos to control in your business, do you have process? What does that process look like? And then how can we optimize or group these processes together so that we create time, so that we multiply time for your staff so that they can be more balanced, do a better job at maintaining relationships, and possibly grow in their capacity to perform more work. And then that's what drives that revenue. That revenue is so important. I always get to the revenue, but I get to the revenue in the end. A lot of consultants go backwards. They're going to go into your company and they're going to say, cut this, cut that, cut the other thing. Look, I created all this revenue for you. But they didn't do anything for communication. They didn't do anything for internal culture. They didn't do anything to make your customers happier or more loyal to you. So what you experience, if you go into a consulting position with cut this, cut that, cut the other thing, and go for a savings right out of the chute, you drive your business to failure long term. It looks like a win, but it's not a win. If you go in and you say, let me focus on communication, let me focus on process, let's focus on internal culture, let's get the team working together, and then you implement those processes, you start to see all the growth on the back end. And long term, that's the best way to grow. Folks, that's what I got for you today. Again, chaos to control. It's really difficult to talk about it if you don't know the specific use case, if you don't know like what type of business you're talking to. But I will share with you, and thinking about my background, right? aviation, automotive, power sports, mountain bikes, marine, copiers, uh, bearing and O-ring wholesale companies. If I just think about the different environments that we've been able to implement this type of training, this type of motion in almost every situation, it's become a winner. And obviously, the business owners that participate at a high level get the highest results. Your goal was to grow a business. Your goal was to grow something that would become bigger than you. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, in the back of our minds, that's always what it's been about, right? How do I grow something that's bigger than me? How do I become part of something that's bigger than I could ever be by myself? And the problem is that as it grows, it starts to get a life of its own, and we start to lose control of it, and then it begins to control us. And what I'm sharing with you today is you can examine your environment, you can examine your processes, and you can find the opportunities where you can regain control. And when you regain that control, your inner peace, the change is amazing. Again, if I look at Kurt 10 years ago and I look at Kurt today is a lot more solid. Kurt today is a lot more peaceful. Kurt today is a much better communicator. And it happened because I was able to process things. I was able to put things to a process, time block my week. I am very structured in the way that I run my week from week to week. And some people say, how do you do so many things? Well, I do so many things because I time blocked my week in order to do so many things. I'm interested in a lot of things, and I didn't want to tie myself to one vertical. If I wanted to just build WordPress websites, I would do that Monday through Friday, but I don't. I have a WordPress agency. I have a full digital agency. We have a business consultancy, right, where we teach people things like what I'm talking about on this call. But I also train people in the power sports industry, and I also certify people in the marine industry that sell boats. So I'm very connected to these different verticals. And from an outsider looking in, it might look scattered, it might look broken, but it's the broken that fits me and my team perfectly. The team that works with me, I don't know if they'd want to work with Kurt 5 days a week. So the fact that we only do a couple days a week with Manana no Mas and our web projects, that works out great. It's just the perfect fit for us at this time. And I'll go back to it. I wanted to manage it. I wanted to go from a chaotic, making everybody happy with everything, like I can do anything for anybody. We don't do that anymore. We are very selective about what types of companies we do projects for through Manana no Mas. Not because we're better than anybody. That's not that, but it's we know what we do best. And if we focus on what we do best, we offer the best product and the best oversight to our customers if we focus on what we do best. So if you have a company that wants an e-learning product made, or you have a company that needs membership or some kind of like social community site, right, to be able to communicate with teams inside your company, that's us. Give us a shout. We'll build it for you, right? If you're a startup, if you have a food truck and you just want a cheap website to get your food truck launched, that also is us. Give us a shout. If you're a company that's mid-size and you have visions of this dream or that dream or the other dream, but you really don't have your assets done yet, you need some graphics made, and you've got a budget of like $8,000 to $10,000 for your website, I'm not yours. There are plenty of people I have in my circle that I can refer you to. So you can still reach out to us, tell us what your project's all about, and I'll say, hey, you know what, that's probably not a great fit for us at this time, but I've got this person, and this person that I can refer you to, and they do fantastic work, right? Having the power to say yes or to say no to things is part of that chaos to control. And that's what drives the revenue for us better than it ever has, because I don't have to say yes to everything anymore. Now I just say yes to the things that we're really proficient at, the things that we have great margins in, and the things that we can really make customers happy with. And so if we focus on making the customers happy and creating ourselves a margin at the same time, it's a win-win-win. Folks, I hope there was something in this today that resonated with you. I hope there's some kind of inspirational part, whether you pick up journaling, whether you pick up what I was talking about with like time blocking your day or time blocking your week. I hope something resonated and something made sense. I didn't see any comments roll in, so I'm sorry. If you put a comment in and I didn't see it, I apologize. I'll check the feed like I always do. I'll get notifications if you make a comment, if you watch the replay, and we'll try to banter back and forth a little bit. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I will see you next Thursday for sure, and probably a couple of times in between. Have a good one. Bye-bye.